All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Beastars, Season 1, Episode 12. The finale of Season 1. Yep. And guys, there's a Season 2 coming. So, y'all know we're hyped. Y'all know we're ready for this finale.
Yes.
Last episode, Louis did that. So that's his thing. Legoshi and Haru, they
didn't do that.
Well, they entered into a situation. And Haru did that. Because that's how instinctively she is in conflict within herself. Like,
right, she has a journey to go on as well.
Right. Well, yeah, they both definitely do have a journey to go on. But the idea that their instincts would kick in a way that is self-destructive, that's wow, that's going to be a thing. Now, the question is, how do you follow up with that? What do you do?
And how do you do that in a way that's a good point to leave off for a season?
Well, that's why we have a full episode. We need a full episode for that kind of stuff. Also, this is all just happening, and they haven't been at school for a bit,
right? And
there's
that too.
Legoshi has to deal with the fact that he's broken school curfew, and and Haru's gone, so they're all assuming the worst. And now that we know in a lot of ways how much Haru knows about Legoshi, how close they are or were maybe to actually having sex with each other, this is going to be quite the finale. There's a lot of things they could either set up or resolve. It's a question of what they choose to do. But y'all, we're loving this. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it now.
We're gonna get a new opening after this.
Well, we're gonna get a whole new season after this.
Right.
And it's just the question is how willing are we going to be to, wait? I don't think there's any temptation I have to read the manga, but it's mainly, I think, because of the fact there's a season 2 already coming,
Yeah. That would be so much torture to just not know if the season 2 was coming or not.
Or not knowing when it was coming too. Going through the night, going through the blue time, and you heard that scream and shout in your mind. Going through the shine, going over the shooting stars, and all it's talking about was music. And that's called jazz. Nice. Give it a little recap here. This is my rabbit DNA reprimanding me. Tell me this relation was completely and utterly wrong. That's like a light novel title. Just spread as an instinct, so do prey. Yeah. Oh. Cool. Oh, that little quiver. Oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I totally get you feeling bad about it, but you don't need to
Yeah.
Yeah.
That little glance down.
Oh. Yeah, his scars. Oh, okay. Looking back on the summer storm. That's the episode title.
All right. Yeah. Oh, buddy.
生きてる者の手が温かいなんて
Hmm.
当たり前のことだと思う。
Oh my god. Oh.
冷たくならなければそれで。
But this hand didn't turn cold.
くて
Wow.
本当に良かった。
Oh. I love hearing anime characters saying yokata, you know.
私大切なこと言い忘れてた。
Hmm. Thank you. Yeah.
どうもありがとう。
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
でもレゴシ君いびき
Ah! I mean, it was something else. Like, grr, grr.
Yeah, that would probably sound pretty intense for a
Right?
rabbit.
Right.
30分帰りが遅かったら先生方に報告してましたよ。
Oh.
ここには内緒にしてくれてるんですか。身の誘拐も外泊も事実ですから。
物騒な団体名を口にするのはおよしなさい。大体
Oh.
神なんて言語道断。一体朝までどこにいたの？
さっきから外泊のことばかり指摘して。
She's worried about the uniform being shown.
Uh huh.
大丈夫ですか？
Oh, Juno? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ara.
心配で
The tail wag.
Mm-hmm.
2匹きりにしてもらえます。だって私が部内で一番知ってるもん。狼という動物の強さ。
そっか。
ゴシ先輩は
Oh.
同種族で触れ合うと心のリラックスにつながるって。こういう時こそ私に触れてください。
ありがとう。でも自分でも不思議なくらい今。
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
俺もうあの子のものなのでみたいな。
Oh,
Wow. Oh my god.
okay.
Oh, oh,
Mm-hmm.
oh. Oh, jeez.
いや特に用はないんで失礼。
Oh no, it's the meme.
Yeah.
It's the meme. It's the meme, Jacob. Oh, this would be terrifying.
幸せにできるんですか？は？初対面にしてご挨拶が過ぎるんです。あなたが心配するような単純な関係じゃなくて安心。確かにあなたにだったら好かれた時点で彼は幸せかも。
Oh,
Cabedon.
this is.
なんで私連日狼に迫られてんの？なんだ、そっか。匂いで分かっちゃ。
You guys haven't
Uh-huh.
had sex, yeah.
私は女としてあなたに勝ってみせます。
Oh my god.
それを証明。
Oh, that's right. The festival's tomorrow.
Well, Juno, jeez.
Tonight, yeah.
お忙しい中、厄介事がまた増えるのはごめんだって美術チームのそう
Hey, that means you're free to socialize.
Uh-huh.
急遽変更したところが
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lily's gone.
Uh-huh.
多分俺のせいだ。
Oh,
出したい。
yeah. A lot of people.
ジュノ
Whoa.
Oh, my god. Oh my god.
Okay.
ショーとメイク少し変えてもらったんです。ルイ先輩がいない今だからこそ私たちは手を取り合ってみんなが驚くような最高な舞台にしましょう。
が変わっていく予感がする。それがいい方向か悪い方向かは一人一人のことだけど、
Hmm.
俺の信念はずっとあの子にある。頑張ってね。
Wow, that was the stiffest.
Yeah.
ああ任せとき
Oh, getting
That's-
him away from the.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well played, Juno.
Yeah.
こんなことがありそう。
So what's she thinking?
24時間で一気に現実と理想を味わった気がして、
Oh, whoa, that's a line.
私一人ではもう足がすくみそう。
Yeah, and she's doing the dance.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome because in some ways she's killing like 3 birds with 1 stone here.
Mm-hmm. Man, this is so well animated.
Uh-huh. Oh my god.
That is gorgeous.
Oh. Yeah, look at how she's dwarfed by them there. Pun intended.
Dwarfed.
Yeah.
Oh.
どうしよう。どこにもいない。まさか
Smell,
Scent,
smell,
maybe?
smell, yeah.
広場を出たか。はるちゃん。
She was here. So he's smelling it. Oh, oh.
鈍ったんじゃない？
Oh, she was crying. You see the little remnants of a tear there?
はるちゃん。俺。
Wait.
ここでご紹介したい部員がいます。ある勇敢な行動をとって
No.
Wow.
No.
Oh, come on. Come on.
彼は不明になった生
Really?
命がけで救出したのです。こちらへ来てください。
Wow.
Really? Really?
肉食獣が自分よりも非力な草食獣を常に助けたいと思うのは当然の心理です。シンプルな思いやりです。
違う。間違ってる。
Wow. Wow. Is he gonna steal the mic here? Is he gonna steal the mic here?
I hope he does.
He's starting to redefine the story.
これこそ肉食獣の本質なのです。
Ah. This is her, also her play for being a Beastar.
Uh-huh.
こうして世の中が少しずつ良くなっていけばいいなって小さい頃からずっと思ってた。
Wow.
レゴシ先輩、
Of course, yep, yep. Mmm.
Come on.
Wow.
Come on.
肉食獣の強さは光が当たらない場では輝けません。分かっているでしょ。可愛がられて嫌われて自分の強さに押しつぶされちゃう。そんなレゴシさん。
Yeah, that weight is maybe something that would be too tough for you to bear.
かなりのやり手ね。あのジュノちゃんって子、狼とウサギなんて誰も祝福してくれない。
Come on.
私が身を引きさえすれば何も問題はない。簡単なことの。
Ah. You would think anyway.
夜道一匹。
物事ややこし
I love that there was no conflict or about it or anything.
さっきの拍手聞いたでしょ。あなたたちは理想のカップルなの。
は？
みたい。
俺は。だって少年が暗い
Oh, okay.
ところでも暗いところでも悩み続けていくだろうし、今までと同じ暗い場所でどうせ悩んでいくなら。
Said I'd want it to be with you. Yeah.
昨夜のホテルでの出来事でもレゴシ君傷ついたでしょ。
いやー、まあああいうトラブルはみんな起きがちなんじゃないか。
じゃである以前に、あなたは狼、私はウサギなの永遠に。
君が獅子組にさらわれた時、獲物を奪われた気持ちになったんだ。正直自分でもわからなくて不安だった。
Whoa.
今ははっきり。
Oh my god.
絶対に食べない。だって。
やめて。
Oh.
そんなこと言い切れるの。レゴシ君が正直になればなるほど、私の気持ちも。
Yeah, yeah.
絶対ね、狼がウサギを食べない保証なんてこの世にはな たに食べられた方が楽だよ。
Oh.
And this coming full circle of like
Chasing
to the
after
beginning,
the first episode,
yeah.
Whoa. Yes. Yes. Yes.
ハルちゃん、俺もっと強くなるよ。この社会にも本能にも負けないで、君をちゃんと幸せにしたいから。
Oh, the way your hand flinched away at that.
Oh. Oh. I'll wait. Oh.
Okay,
that's a promise.
that's both wonderful and cruel.
Okay, but it's not over. Yeah, you still have them. Mm-hmm. I'll be right back. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Legom. It's missing. Okay.
Oh man.
レゴシこの夏はどうだったのよ。そうだして。
Ah, yes.
スイカ食い損ねたな。
That's something you didn't do.
行こうよ、一緒に。
He's like, I wanted to know what you did do.
But what's with that smile that's on your face?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
This is so wonderful.
Oh, yep. We gotta see where Louis is at. Come on.
Oh. Drugs.
やっと見つけた。みんな探してたよ。
Is this the one who devoured Elm?
Maybe.
Or Tem? Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, probably.
Oh!
Okay. Well.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah. Guys, this show stole my heart.
Yep. Same.
I fell prey to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to do so.
Very happy.
Like,
I gotta say though, you know, I can't hate Juno. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. Like,
Yeah,
the fact that she is doing so well at coming into her own, stepping into Louis' position, really taking that spotlight and that position as a leader.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the fact that this episode ended with a stage performance as well, in the same way that the show kind of began truly with a stage performance. Even though, you know, there was quite a lot that built up to it.
Yeah.
There's so much drama, if you will, in this show that I feel like it behooves it to have. Yeah, I'm going for all of the puns here. To have such a performance here at the end, and yet I usually hate love triangle nonsense.
Me too. Well,
I do usually. Like, no,
I don't.
You don't.
I don't.
I know you don't.
I don't. It just has to be done properly, you know. But
right, you've been spoiled with really
there's
quality stuff at points.
Indeed. And now one of the things though that I was a little bit apprehensive about with this show,
right,
was the idea with one having a love triangle when we only had one core to set up the actual romance, when there were a lot of obstacles to get in the way of that, right? Like, both characters didn't even know or realize or think that they would like each other at the beginning of the series. So there's a lot. They
didn't really know each other.
They didn't know each other, right? So there's a lot to overcome there, right?
Thankfully, this show is very character focused.
Exactly. So it did that very nicely. And so the idea of having another character that isn't one of the the main three even alongside that then can also be that other part of the love triangle. That was something where I was like, maybe it's more something of like future stuff, right? Not now necessarily, but future stuff. But no, yeah, did it here and it worked great.
It's almost a good thing though that Louis is gone now, because it would have been a bit more than a love triangle. It was for a little bit, but like it's going into love polygons that there's
quadrilateral
no
with adjacent triangles.
They have their own gravitational pull.
Yeah,
like
so
just suck.
So
guys, season 1 is over. Season 2 is coming. The things that they teased, we'll discuss and do some theories on that. But in this episode, primarily, we focused on Haru and Legoshi, and then Juno as the other primary focus.
Yep.
Haru's fear here is one that gets processed a little bit, but it is also something of acknowledging from Legoshi's side of things that he can't force her.
Right.
He just needs to be honest with where he's at. And the more he communicates with that, the better things will be. And Haru, even we got first-person perspective from her. That is exactly the case of how it is for her.
Yeah, she can't even force herself, right? She thought that maybe that would be a good idea. Like, oh, yeah, we can just try and brush past that.
Yeah, we can just make it work. Yeah, we'll put a lot of effort into it.
Right. But then it's like, no. Hold on. One, that's okay, like that's a whole part of the thing, right? And Legoshi has not exactly been one to deny sides of reality like that, right? Like he's not the kind of person to just put a bold face on something, Right. The stuff that Juno was saying on the stage, that's not his style, right? Yeah. So
just decide that things are going in a good direction.
Right. It's something where we get to see how these characters can start being complementary to each other. Yeah. Not just from the standpoint of them being very different from design and things like that, but because that makes for fun conflict, but actually for how they can help each other, right? Yep. In more character-driven ways than just Legoshi rescues her when she gets kidnapped.
Right. Or it's something where they're just reacting to someone else's needs as a character like Legoshi would have a lot of them. If anything, what we saw here was an element of where this was all something that Juno was doing for Juno.
Yep.
And that's good, because then that shows where her character is.
Yeah, go, girl.
Yeah.
But, I'm glad it turned out this way.
I'm very glad it turned out this way. I'm very, very, hesitant regarding my complete adoration for Juno, though, because of the way that she handled the Haru interaction. Which, by the way, the meme, right? The walking, someone's following you, jogging, and then they're running really fast.
Right.
Is this a reference to that, or is that a reference to this?
I think this is a reference to that. I think that meme predates this.
Okay, because that was hilarious.
Predates, not
credits. Yeah, exactly. But that was funny for a brief second, and then it kept going, and I started to realize how terrifying this is.
Oh yeah,
because from Haru's perspective, she is getting chased by her natural predator here, who is someone that has an emotional reason to want her gone.
Beyond, and the fact that she didn't say, no, I'm not going to eat you, I'm not that kind of person. It's, I don't need to eat you.
Right.
I
can beat you just as a woman.
Which basically means that, but that's on the table. Potentially.
That was on the table.
That was on the table, and it could be put back on the table if I prove wrong in this.
Well, I think one of the ways that they basically communicated this, or the way it was communicated via the mangaka's writing here, is that it was like, okay, he's not yours and you're not his yet. Then I can still actually win as a woman. I don't have to eat you. But if they had sex, I think she would have considered it. I think she would have considered doing something that would have ruined their chances. Like, not just Haru's and Legoshi's, but maybe even Juno's and Legoshi's.
Oh, sure.
Or at least run the risk of it.
Right. It's something where that was a very terrifying scene for Haru, and yet you can totally see that from Juno's perspective, no, this is nothing. It's just... Yeah,
so Juno having this side that is quite direct, more so than she's been in the earlier episodes that we got from her, was rather cool, because seeing that she is willing to, push to get what she wants in a lot of ways reminds us of, Louis. And sure. Louis, as a person that was the leader, I would say this is a shining example of something that he wasn't fully embracing himself, means that, Juno learned some things. And now, where she's in this situation where she's leaning up against, Legoshi being like, yeah, so we should touch each other so that we can calm down. And, she's being so forward at this. And the fact that Legoshi's like, no, I've actually never been calmer. And she's just like, what? What? What I love about this is that it's showing Legoshi's still lack of growth in a specific area with regards to communication. And that is that he is honest with Haru, but he is not honest with Juno. He doesn't want to outright reject her. He's doing everything but being overt with it.
Well, okay, so that is definitely a way to look at it. The way that I was perceiving it was just that it's something where he's not picking up on all of this stuff.
That's completely, I don't agree with that at all.
Okay.
The way he did his gambate and walked up to her and did that, he knew exactly what she was doing.
Well, all right. No,
I can bring up the bit here where he's literally thinking internally about this.
Yeah, he knows that she likes him. Right.
Oh yeah.
But the idea of no, I've never been calmer, that seemed like a very just genuine kind of just response of I've never been calmer.
So how do you take this then? Everyone decides for themselves if things are heading in a good or bad direction. But my convictions will never waver from her. Why would your convictions waver in this instance as opposed to any others? Is this a thing where he's literally so aloof that he's saying that, she's not trying to waver my convictions from her. This is something where she's deciding that her convictions will lead her towards a good direction. Thus, it is what it is, tautology, and she's gaining strength from that. And he's like, yes.
All right.
I will
Gambate,
use that. Yes, gambate, and then leaves immediately. Is that how oblivious he is?
I mean, I'm not sure.
I know he's oblivious in some angles.
Right.
But the fact that he literally moves away from her here, there's a reason why he's doing that. He's trying to basically say, I don't have any interest in you. I don't have a specific way to reciprocate your feelings. So rather than saying I'm not interested in you, because that would be hard, he's constantly pushing, not pushing back. He's stepping back.
Okay, so I get that side of things. I could just definitely see it being something where Legoshi is so withdrawn and in his own head and things like that, that it just straight up makes him uncomfortable.
Well, right? Of course it makes him uncomfortable.
And then he just backs
but he's
away
not even saying that
what
she's doing is making him uncomfortable.
Well,
this is an example of him kind of doing the shrinking down, the wolf thing.
Right.
I don't show any kind of aggressive, overt side. So I feel like that's just a thing. Even if he wasn't outright unaware that she likes him, the fact that he's not saying hey, what you're doing is making me uncomfortable. Could you please give me 6 feet of distance? Social distancing.
Legoshi is not at all the type of person that would do that. When Louis grabbed his tail, he didn't say anything about it.
Yeah, but that's an earlier iteration of Legoshi. What I'm bringing up is that because of with Haru here, he is being very honest with his feelings. Haru is special in that she is actually the one that is the only one he can be fully honest with.
Okay.
Thus, he is not fully honest with everyone else.
Okay.
And in those situations, there are ways in which he could be more honest, and I'm just predicting that the one way it is that he's not wanting to reject her in some way.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The face animation from Juno when she's interacting with Haru, she is angry. She is being a predator here.
Well, the interactions between the characters in this show are always wonderful, right? And the attention to detail with the body language and things like that and the expressions on their faces is, and always has been, wonderful, right? Yeah. And this episode is no exception. You know, there were so many different expressions I felt like that we got from Juno in her interactions with Legoshi and with Haru that in some ways they were my favorite ones of the episode, not because of how much I care about Juno, but because of, like, with the other characters it was a lot more straightforward and earnest, you know, with Legoshi, like when he's chasing after Haru and, you know, trying to, you know, communicate to her his feelings and things like that, and then Haru with her nervousness and reticence about the whole situation, whereas Juno has all these different things that she's experiencing that she's not sure how to interpret, and she's like, okay, I didn't see that coming. Oh, this is her. Wait, hold on. Okay, what's going on? Okay, they haven't had sex yet. All right, cool. You know, but I still am feeling threatened basically by this rabbit's presence when I am a wolf. That's not supposed to happen.
That's just good fun. And I love that because Haru went through this development and this change from the whole incident of getting kidnapped and stuff. She's fearless here.
Oh yeah.
For the immediate bit, she's just talking down to her, you know, poking sarcastic fun at her. And then when Juno does the equivalent kabedon, you know, to her, she calls it an advance that she's getting from the wolf, which I think is rather interesting because it's like, oh, you call this an advance? Sure, it is in some ways, but it's way more aggressive than a romantic advance. That feels more like the I'm going to do things to you kind of advance.
Yeah, well, I feel like it was something where maybe Juno wanted to specifically keep it ambiguous so that way it would create the most general unease and apprehension within Haru. So make it be something.
She's not touching her in a way that is violent.
Right, exactly. So it seems like it's going to be violent. She grabs her shoulders and pins her there, and then she starts sniffing her, and it's like, wait, whoa, what's going on here? Right. And then it's oh no, I was just checking to see if you had actually slept with him.
Which, again, this is, I would say, the skill of Juno in that she is a multitasking genius. She is hitting multiple beats constantly and effectively within what she wants, I would guess.
Yep.
And, yeah, it makes her quite terrifying as just a first year as well, in that if she's, you know, going to continue being a main character in the story, she will be quite a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Her outfit change,
it's an excellent outfit.
I gotta say, I was blindsided.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I was legitimately like, that is hot. Like that's just really freaking attractive. And I never thought I'd say that about a wolf in a dress, basically. Like, anime, man.
It's one of those things where I feel like a lot of the times, in anime, it will, like, there will be more reliance on special effects kind of a thing, you know, whether it's like the sparkles or the roses or the hearts, you know, like things like that, right? Whereas we didn't have any of that here because it wasn't needed, right? It was just absolutely wonderful, right? It was visually striking, and then when she does the dance, triply more so.
Yeah, the dance, holy crap, the dance.
It was just so fluid,
so clean. I really liked Hara's little thing of just realizing that what scares me the most is realizing just how small I am, and you're the only one who acknowledges a rabbit like me. And then you better live up to that.
Yeah.
I can't go on without you anymore, you stupid wolf. What is wonderful is that right at this point, I think she's basically like accepting, I love him. Like I really do. And it's complicated because in some ways it is part of the fact that he's one of the only people that's acknowledged her in that way, which means it's more maybe because of his unique aspect that there's something there, but then there's the other bits of just like, you know, what you've kind of promised to be, and I want to hold you to that, stupid wolf. Like, you can definitely feel that she's like, I mean, if it could be that ideal,
Right.
You better stick to that. You Baka, like I can just feel her being like about to cry here, and then when we see her again later, she's got the little remnants of the tear in her eye.
Yeah, and I love that. Okay, so there are so many things that I love about this whole scene and set of scenes, but like one, Juno is doing the dance, right? Yeah. This is her display of, how awesome she is, right? To draw the attention of everybody.
She's worked hard for this, yeah.
Right, she's worked hard for this. The one person who she most wants the attention of currently is not giving it to her, right? It's completely, even though he's right there, it's not like he's in a different place, right? He is actually amongst the crowd, and he's just looking for Haru, right?
Yep.
Which is just... That's
perfect.
That's perfect. It's poetic, and oh man, sucks Juno. But
it sucks for Juno.
Yeah, right. But then there's the idea of Haru is actually dealing with all of these sort of internal struggles and things that she hasn't really looked closely at because she's never had to. Like she's had her way of living her life, and it's been enough for her, until now. It's worked, right? Why fix something that works? But all of a sudden, it's different, and she's got to deal with this fact, and it's not just the fact that, say, Legoshi likes her. It's the fact that, oh yeah, I'm starting to like him, but what does that actually mean, right? That means I can get hurt. That means like all sorts of things can happen, and I don't know if I'm fully comfortable with that. But yet at the same time, that's the situation. I can't help it at this point. And then the whole thing of when she's looking at Juno, and she's basically seeing everything that she's not, right? How you've talked about the whole idea of how carnivores are in a lot of the positions of power, it seems, and how that's sort of like, that's odd. This, I feel like, is addressing that concept, that there's this, in a similar vein to how Haru almost jumped into his mouth, right? Yeah. That idea of, that's something that's strong, that's something that can kind of have territory and things like that. Right. And like, so this is, it's only natural that this is the way of things, sort of, right? They are still the king of this concrete jungle, you know, and I'm just a rabbit here.
Right. And
that's
scared of that realization hitting Legoshi. I love that we had kind of the cliche kind of cock blocking kind of thing from the side character coming in to stop the whole thing there. But what I really love that didn't really get acknowledged here is that when the spotlight went on them, it's the two of them being right there. And it kind of looks like he was essentially like proposing to her. Like this is kind of a typical kind of romantic pose of the guy kneeling in front of the girl here. Now it's primarily just because she's much shorter than him.
To get on eye level,
Exactly. But the fact that Haru was the one that let go first.
Yep.
And yet it was kind of a thing of where they were like, we're both acknowledging that. He gets pulled up onto the stage. She starts changing the story here. Now this is something that I think is rather cool. Juno is one of the youngest characters we've had in this show.
Yes.
In terms of just the fact that she's a first year. Most of the characters in this show are not first years that we've seen thus far that have like a lot of focus given to them. She has a very idealistic view of the world.
Sure.
But I don't think she fully believes it.
I don't think so either.
I think that this is the message in some ways of what this world is trying to propagate. Is that, hey...
There is no problem.
Well, yes, there is no problem.
No war within the walls.
Well, right. But it's worse than that. Because it's actually... That's just saying we don't have anything to look at. But she's actually trying to paint a specific picture, which is that the role of a carnivore is to protect the, smaller herbivores.
Sure.
Which, let's be real, the main reason why strength is important in any kind of society is that you can then use it in a way that guards something that the groups of the society value.
Sure.
You use it as a primary way to say that when we have something that's wonderful and someone says, I don't like that thing, you can basically say, my strength is attached to that. If you want to attack that, that's great and all.
But you'll have to contend with it.
You'll have to contend with that.
Yeah.
Now, what she brings up here is something that the show has systematically torn down with regards to the state of this society by saying that, yeah, this is how natural it was for, it's only natural, when actually all that was natural was forcing them into situations where it got really dicey. The whole market with the horrific guy there with the fingers being sold is just the perfect example of no, it's not really that way. And I know you'd like to see it that way, but I think when she then says, like, this is the true way, and then what does she say? She says, I'm so happy for you. I hope the world can get better bit by bit this way. It's what I've hoped for since I was a child. Now, how candid do you think she's being here? Because this wasn't to the crowd. I want to say this is extremely candid compared to the rest of it, but I don't know. What do you think here? Because she is kind of manipulating him.
Yeah, even if it's candid, it could be candid. Right. I would not be surprised if it was candid.
Yeah.
But it is. No, I don't think it's fully candid. There might be a kernel of candidity in there.
Right.
But primarily she's doing this as a way to indirectly sort of influence, not manipulate has a strong connotation, but
it's manipulation.
But she's trying to influence Legoshi, right? She's trying
manipulation.
Yeah. But when you think about it that way, manipulation is everywhere. But that's a conversation for another day. But so she's doing this and it's coming from a similar place as what she said to the crowd, right? Yeah. It's an emotionally based argument, which makes it very hard to refute, because you can't refute someone's emotions about a thing. You can only refute how they try and implement something in the world as a result of those emotions, right? And then it can feel like you're trying to refute the emotions themselves. So in this situation, it's... She's too competitive in order for it to truly be candid, I feel like. This is something that I feel like if she does want the world to get better bit by bit, it's more just that she maybe has a very particular way of it getting better.
Well, right. That's how she said, I hope they'll get better by bit this way. So it is a specific way.
Right. But also not just the methods in which it will be changed, but what it will be changed into. And since she is...
So you're saying she has an end goal in mind.
Right. And given the fact that, and this is largely extrapolation, but based on what we've seen from her in this episode, it's something where she is very much in touch with her instincts to hunt and feed, right? She was quite possibly considering eating Haru, and then she talks about this is the natural state of carnivores, to protect. I wholly reject that, and in a lot of ways that diminishes what Legoshi did.
Right. You're rejecting not only her philosophy, but you're rejecting the idea that she believes that philosophy.
Right.
So the way multiple levels, it's hogwash.
The way I could see her believing it within a certain lens is that if there's territory, it's natural that a carnivore would protect it because it's theirs, right?
Oh.
But the idea of a carnivore protecting someone else, that's something different, right? Because that's more of a selfless act.
Oh.
And that's why there's the whole question of was Legoshi doing it because Haru was his prey, or because he actually genuinely cared about her as a person. And that's where I think it's hogwash, but where there's enough truth to it within her that she can say it and put that bright spin on everything.
Oh man, the way you brought this up is actually really fascinating, because I think you shone a light, you used the light to you put a light on something specifically within Juno, and that is that maybe, I think this is going on a bit of a leap there, so I'm just going to drop it as like a boom, like maybe this is a thing. She might unintentionally be pushing a carnivores first kind of agenda, and not even really being aware of it.
Oh, sure.
Because it's the thing of...
You crave subjugation.
Well, if it's the role of carnivores to protect herbivores, what that might be saying is that herbivores have no business protecting themselves.
Sure.
Because they can't, from her perspective.
And in fact, they shouldn't. That's not their purpose. Their purpose should be to just remain where they are and like
provide the
stock almost.
Well, okay. So here's what's something that's rather fascinating when you've been on a farm and you see a sheepdog. This is probably one of the most like weird things about sheepdogs is they bite the sheep.
Yes.
They need to in order to do their job as they're trained, which is to move the sheep from place to place primarily.
Sheep are very, very dumb.
They're very dumb and they're very easily frightened. You don't need that many sheepdogs for a ton of sheep.
Yep.
It's incredible how little you need to make them move and stuff like that. But sheepdogs are also incredibly good at protecting the sheep.
Yes.
So what you have is this weird dynamic where the sheepdogs will literally bite the legs of the sheep if the sheep aren't moving the way they need to.
Yeah.
And then suddenly that sheep makes a much more panicked noise, which causes all the other sheep to move away from that sheep.
To know that sheepdog don't go near it. If it starts moving in a way, then...
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you lived in an actual society of, anthropomorphized people...
Where you were all sheep and there was a sheepdog doing that thing, that'd be terrifying.
That's not freedom. That's not a really healthy society.
That's being livestock.
That's enslavement, basically.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is that if she's pushing this and she's calling all the attention to herself and then the carnivore in this instance, but not highlighting Haru here, which I find to be rather interesting. This is something that's rather interesting when you show stories of people that are basically heroes and they're saving people and stuff like that. I really feel much more connected to the thing in a way that I feel like I'm inspired to be the person doing the hard right thing at a point where it's like that when I see both parties involved.
Oh, sure.
If you just elevate the one person that did the thing, I'm like, yes, they did the thing.
Cool, awesome.
That's wonderful. Yes. But I really would like to see the people that were affected and helped by this and have them be given at the very least some platform to be able to share what it meant to have this person there that helped them, or to at the very least recount a little bit of the story just for that specific instance here. I feel like yes, this is a much more selfish thing from Juno here than it is some grand magnanimous display of
well, and the tough thing is that the whole sheepdog aspect, at the same time, there are instances where you need that in a society, right? Depending now, you would hope that the scale of what deserves a bite, right, is fair enough that it's actually helping rather than hurting, right?
Right. It's just in general that analogy starts to break down, like you're saying, after a certain point, because like the bite thing becomes a thing of where it's like, it's a very one-sided relationship.
Sure, but some kind of reprimand basically that gets people in order, right? It's what keeps there from being chaos, right? Carrot and stick, we're in this show. We're in a very particular society that has a very interesting way of doing that, or just not doing that almost at all.
It's duplicitous. It's complicit and duplicitous. Like it's yeah.
But then we have the stuff that happens after, and oh my god,
I love that he just shows up. You hear his voice in the background.
Yeah, Haru. There's no concern or anything like that. Or no, she's having this intense internal turmoil, right? And there's that whole thing of like they're kind of, the show's kind of baiting us a little bit with the idea that Juno's like, stay with me. This is all good. This is fine, right? And we're thinking there's no way Legoshi's actually going to do that. He's going to go look for Haru. Right. But we still want to have the catharsis of seeing him make that decision. But no. It's such a foregone conclusion that we just cut to Haru. She's worried, and then Legoshi just shows up, and it's amazing.
Yeah. I gotta say, Legoshi's line after Haru says, "You were hurt after what happened last night at the hotel, weren't you?" And he's like, "Well, I guess most people have had something like that happen in their life." And like, she's like, that was a seriously abnormal situation. Like,
oh man,
what I love that she's addressing here is these are Legoshi's feelings.
Yes,
specifically, because no, he wasn't physically hurt by this. This was a thing of where he nearly bit her because she almost made him bite her. Like, I love how much she is like freaking out about him, because this is just showing how sensitive she is, not only to her own feelings, but to, you know, his feelings. Well, that's love right there. Yep. And then they do the whole, you know, we're different people from different worlds. There's nothing that can change. That's the whole Romeo and Juliet thing coming in here. I love where he's honest here. I felt like someone had stolen my prey when, you know, you'd been kidnapped. And to be honest, I didn't understand it myself, and I was worried.
That's
now he knows for sure that he wants to save. And then she just runs away. Like,
because now it's getting into like the really like, oh, hold on, you know, red alert. Like we're going someplace that we can't go back from. Like, don't you want to put on the brakes? A little bit, like this is something that just makes me want to cry, because this is the rabbit that felt like she had to have sex with people in order to protect herself, but also in order to feel like she was on equal footing in the relationship. And now she's in her elevated state on the stairs and stuff like that, still feeling unequal in the relationship as he's about to start dropping things regarding his feelings. And she's like, feelings, no, let's go have sex or something. That'll be way easier than actually communicating our feelings and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, Hara, I feel for you so much. There are so many things that I love about this whole scene and how it goes. One, it makes it, there's the whole idea of him chasing after her again, right? And it being a different thing, and absolutely
under a
wonderful
healthier context.
Exactly, and I love it.
Tamed the carnivore,
right? Well, and it's also something that
monster.
It's getting at something that also scares her in some ways, on a deeper level than actually whether or not she'll get eaten. Right?
Yes.
But then we also have the idea that so in the previous episode we had the whole thing of you know, Legoshi being like, hold on, wait, love hotel, wait, what's going on? And then like the escalator, you know, right? This feels like a similar thing.
But they're going up it naturally.
They're going up it naturally. They're going up together, and Haru is you know, now it's different because she's going away from him and going up the stairs and everything, right?
Well, but you could see there's some symbolism in that.
But there is some symbolism.
Being like, if you want to chase me, that's fine, but you have to come up these stairs. You have to come after me.
Exactly.
I'm not going to reject you, but I'm also not going to make this easy for you. I'm scared. I don't know if I can trust you. I don't know if I can trust myself. And all that.
And in the previous episode, it was something where Legoshi was very much scared. Like, whoa, hold on. I don't know. Aren't there some other steps that we're supposed to go through before, you know, we get to this point? And here we see that because of where the other person is at, they're basically laying out the red carpet for the other person of, hey, this is where I'm at, right? So Legoshi chasing after her and talking about how he feels about her and stuff. It's just. And the fact that he has the confidence to be able to say that, but then also say it and have it not come from a place of unease or tension or anything. He's just saying, "Hey, this is how it is." And when he says, "There was that part of me that was like, hey, they took my prey," acknowledging that means that it's basically saying that's okay that you had that freak out moment and tried to throw yourself into my mouth. That's all right, right? It's this. What we're in here is a complicated situation. So complications aren't a problem. That just comes with the territory, right? So, hey, this happened with me. This is what I was able to learn from it. I was able to learn that there was more to it than that, and just in the same way that there's more to it with you than just a prey that a herbivore that wants to throw itself into the mouth of the nearest carnivore, right?
Well said.
Like so. I love this. I really love it. And the fact that we're able to get a moment like this after just one core.
Oh yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
All right.
This is the slow burn romance that is going way faster than I thought it would ever.
Slow roast, maybe.
Yeah. The part where he promises that he'll become even stronger. This is something that I feel is a little bit of a cliche anime line.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
No, but I want to say that the way he follows it up is actually, I would say, more of a cliche romance line. And this is something that I really liked, was when he says, I'll become even stronger, he follows it up with walking up next to her and walking alongside her here. He is not looking at her. He is looking at this scary big world out there. Because what she's saying, in a lot of ways, she's saying, I don't want to hurt you. Then he's saying, I'm going to get so strong that nothing outside this dynamic that we have here will stop me.
Yeah.
So I can fight society and my instincts. Now, what I really like about this, and he says, so I can make you happy for real. What I think is cool about this is that this is his character wrapped up in one statement here. The reason why he's getting stronger is so that he can overcome the outside and the inside.
Right. Self-mastery.
Yeah. But what shows his immaturity and his area to grow still is that then he says, and so I can make you happy for real. Yeah. During this point here, Haru is going up to hold his hand.
Yeah.
And then she pulls the hand away when he says, and so I can make you happy for real.
She's I'm already happy. Back.
What I want to bring up here that I think is rather interesting, and where I think will be a conflict point of their relationship, is the nature of what Juno said this episode. The role of carnivores is to protect the herbivores. That's not necessarily love. What she might have heard here, and what Legoshi might have unintentionally communicated here, was that he's going to become bulletproof so that she can be happy. Wait a minute. Since when does what she was maybe unintentionally communicating? This is actually, no, hold on. Let me backtrack a little bit. What Legoshi might have heard here is that she was thinking that she's going to hurt him, which is a thing that often gets said in relationship beginnings where people are unsure about whether this is a good idea.
Sure.
It's usually not entirely meaning just that. It's usually also meaning some other stuff. I don't want to get hurt, but also I'm confused. I just don't know what to do right now, so I'm just spitting out stuff that is somewhere on the surface accurate of what's going on inside me. But there's other deeper stuff that's way more important. So because Legoshi said he was doing this for her and not necessarily just doing this for himself, this is where the conflict is going to be. Because if they're both just doing things for each other and they're not necessarily trying to build who they are and actually, like that thing he was getting at, the idea of I will get strong enough so I can basically overcome society and my own instincts. That's basically saying, hey, let's go do this. Let's go do this wild, mysterious adventure together. I'll do my part to make sure that I'm okay in this, but I'll do it so I can make you happy for real. I'm not saying that this was a negative line from Legoshi, but I think there's a level of complexity in it that's showing that Haru's like, okay, that means you're not really ready yet. Well, so I'm gonna wait for you. So because you're gonna do a lot more growing along the way, but also this is just the only way I can respond at this point. He didn't really necessarily give her a vulnerable offering as he had been on the way up the stairs. This was him kind of resolving.
Yeah, so it's right.
I think there's a lot wrapped up in here.
Yeah, one of the specific lines that was that Haru mentioned on the way to this point, where they're standing and looking over the city, is when she's like, "What if I traumatized you and like forever with your future interactions with women or whatever?" The idea that it's okay. Yeah, there's what if you eat me, but then there's what if you eat me. What? Okay, it's over for me. I die, right? But what happens for you? right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know you're not the kind of carnivore that would just be like, oh man, I ate her, that sucks. Well, she was tasty, you know.
Right.
All right, move on. No, that would really mess him up inside.
Yeah,
you know. So she's
course.
like, hold on, that's also something to think about. And because you're thinking about me, I don't know if you're thinking about you.
Yeah.
But then
man.
because she's pushing back against the vulnerability because it's scary. Then they get to the top and he starts taking a bit of the different approach, not so much the vulnerability angle, but you and I against the world, right?
Yeah.
It'll be great.
We'll do this together.
I'll
bear the front and
yep, exactly.
just stand alongside me and we'll be okay.
Yeah. And while there's a part of me that definitely wishes that she had said, all right, we'll do this together, it'll be great, that also you do kind of need to have the thing of the I'll wait for you so that we can continue to see the story like unfurl and develop and things like that.
I don't think that this is just the cliche thing of that, though.
I don't think it is either. I think there's just elements of that where like I can see that, but then there's also that Legosi
This is Romeo and Juliet, Jacob, in that regard. Like
right.
So yeah, there's definitely cliches abounding in this whole thing there, but the idea that she actually went through all the other stuff before we got to this point, if that was just one encounter, outside of the context there, then yeah, it gets a lot more cliche. I just feel like the fact that he went through all this vulnerability, all this honesty, she absorbed it, ran away because of her feelings were coming up there. By the time they got to the top and she was kind of like, well, I'm done running, he then shifted focus. And I think in some ways that's what made her pull away when she was going to hold his hand.
Yeah.
Because I think in some ways she had calmed herself and she was starting to see a little bit more clearly. Maybe there's the element of the lights and it being just this beautiful, place and stuff like that. So it, she's reached the top, the wind is clear, but there was that moment where she pulled her hand away. So yeah. Because that's something where not only is she necessarily not ready, it could be that she sees that Legoshi is not ready.
Right. And because they're both Bakas, and she is in some ways showing the more maturity of the two in this situation by
she's older.
She's definitely had more experience with relationships in general.
Yep.
So it's something where she's more acknowledging of the complications and the obstacles and things like that, since he's more of just like, they don't matter, let's go.
Youthful, romantic. Yeah.
Exactly,
yeah.
Right? So
that's
she's
attractive.
Oh yeah. Because
it's
for
persistent.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. And she's just like, all right, well, there are I don't necessarily have to make him see things the way I see things, but
yeah, definitely not.
But okay, I can rely on the fact that he is looking at this the way he's looking at this. I'm looking at this the way I'm looking at this, and then we can, go forward together and, cover each other's backs, basically.
Yeah. This is in some ways that they're all kind of going to become their own Beastars in a way.
Because it is Beastars, not Beastar.
But we got some rounding off of summer and a little bit of, time skipping and some other stuff here. One is that I think it kind of implied a little bit that Legoshi and Haru spent a lot of their summer together.
I believe so, yes.
I think that was implied a bit.
Yeah.
Because they were not at their places as much during I believe the summer period of what would be like summer school or something like that. We don't know.
Maybe we can have a summer vacation arc in second season.
But I think it was actually more implied that they just skipped summer. Like they time skipped through summer. And it's now the next year.
Okay, yeah.
But if that's the case, is this then going to be, Legoshi's last year and Haru's out of school? She is the third year.
So, okay. So if I recall correctly, in Japan, summer break is actually a lot shorter. It's like a few weeks.
Right.
And then the school year starts in April. So summer isn't actually the end of the school year for them.
Oh, that's right.
So it's more like, if I recall correctly, it's more like the equivalent of like a spring break or a winter break or something like we have over here.
Okay. So then in that case, then there could be a little bit more school left. But Jack, best just good as little boy, just like, looking out for Legoshi, and Legoshi's like, oh, he doesn't tell him anything really about what happened in summer. He's just like, I forgot to eat a watermelon.
Yeah. And
Let's go get one.
Right.
And that smile and that little bit of energy, and Jack's just like,
what's going on?
I love dogs in stories in general, but the fact that they made an anthropomorphized dog who is just the epitome of just goodest boy, it's just, oh my god, he's so good.
Yeah.
But we got a teaser.
We did, which was not the teaser I expected.
For something that wasn't related to Louis.
Yeah.
And I am like, okay.
You know what this almost feels like?
What?
This almost feels like Pillar Men in Part 2 before we get back to Dio in Part 3. Like, not that hopefully Louis won't be a villain. If he does, I'm sure he'll be a great villain. But, but the idea of like, all right, remember that thing that was established where it's like, oh, yes, a herbivore was eaten. We do kind of need to address that, So that's what the second season can be.
Yeah, the Devourer was never found.
Right.
And now it's almost like obvious that the one that you thought it was, like way back when,
the bear one or whatever,
the big gray, whatever looking one.
Yep, that they specifically didn't show the face of.
Right, but they showed that was there in the drama club.
Yep.
And it was like
not Bill, basically.
Right, not Bill, basically.
The other one that could have the rounded ears and be very tall.
Right. Yeah. And it's weird because once the carnivores get to a certain size and their heads are shaped a certain way, you kind of have to take a really good close look at the ears in order to be able to tell what kind of carnivore they are. Otherwise, you're like, I can't tell. Is this a cat? Is this a canine? Is this something bigger like a bear or something like that?
I don't know.
I can't tell, because it would actually be really weird if it was a bear, because the bears, you stereotypically have bears be kind of fat, kind of big and, whatever. But there are some lanky ass, scary looking bears. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. I thought it was more of like a leopard of some kind.
Oh, sure. It could definitely be that. Yeah.
But we'll see. But they brought up the idea that this carnivore is drugging themselves. Now, what's interesting is that we had seeded from Bill's story that he was taking small doses of blood.
Right.
He was juicing himself. However, the capsule type container that whatever these things were in did not look like they contained any form of liquid or something.
Right. Maybe it
was in the bathroom.
Yeah, like
water.
Because
see them leaving. It's a 6-pack. Literally, that looks like allergy meds. That I've literally had, pills that looked like they were in a container like this. It's one of those little push packets.
Right. It's the most common thing for pills to be in, basically, unless it's in an actual jar.
But I want to bring up something here is that usually these are. This means that this is an official, a regulated drug. So I wanted to bring up a theory here. This carnivore takes these to stop themselves.
That's what I was thinking too.
And that's why there's 6 empty. Is that he has to take all of them. Oh, you think that they're out?
Yeah, like
this is the last bit? Oh, okay. I think it was maybe because it's a regulated, potentially official drug that he would have easy access to it. I mean, he can just be like, I have mood swings and I need to calm myself down. Sure. But I think this is literally a subversion twist setup, in that it's not the blood juicing up. Right. It's the opposite. Well, it's a carnivore that lost control at some point.
Sure.
And is freaking out.
Well,
and then is using drugs to keep himself calm, and thus gets a little loopy. And then when we see them up here, which I'm assuming it's a him in a lot of ways, it's like, oh, there you are. We were looking for you. Oh, what's so funny? Yeah, the what's so funny bit. And it's just that thing of like,
right. So
also the color scheme being off on the view of this animal.
Okay.
See how it has a little bit of accentuated
fuzziness
and stuff. I think this is just showing that the the person, the carnivore, is like a little bit, under the influence here.
Okay. One of the things that kind of goes in line with what you were saying of it being more of a subdue or repress the
urges,
the carnivore urges, is that given that the blood was something from the dark market, which is still isn't shut down, so it's kind of approved,
right,
by the society, but not really
in public.
Yeah, it's not official.
Yeah.
Well, the stuff in the society that is official is all about repression, right? So it makes sense then the things that they get are regarding that, but also it makes it thematically relevant to Legoshi, because there's the whole idea of, okay, yes, a carnivore out there that kills herbivores, right, and eats them. That's a problem. That is a literal problem, right? Yeah. And it's one that can't really be ignored.
Nope.
But as far as the emotional problem, as far as the emotional relevance of the issue to our main cast, what's there? If it's just some frothing at the mouth carnivore that's like, I'm gonna, like eat animals and stuff when nobody's looking, that might be something where then Haru is threatened maybe, but how does it relate to them as people, right? So if it's something where it's the meds basically that keep him like properly,
toned down,
right, restrained, and then he runs out, or chooses to stop taking them, or whatever, any number of things, right?
I think he took some here, though.
Right, I'm guessing he took some here, and so
he wouldn't throw away an empty one with the water having the
that
shows he needed the water.
Who knows?
Swallow
maybe it's not something that's specifically designed to repress carnivore instincts, but maybe it's something that is just to give you like a little bit of a high that's often used to basically make it so that carnivores don't feel as aggressive. And that's why it's like, what's so funny, because he kind of has like a general sort of
Actually, can we check that again? I don't think it was the carnivore speaking. I think it was Legoshi who said, "What's so funny?"
No, yeah, that's what I think it was too.
Okay, I'm just gonna double check to make sure that was.
Yeah.
Hey, there you are. We were looking for you. Let's go already.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of following behind. Oh, but he stops moving. So, yeah, what's so funny?
Right.
Yeah.
So that there are two things that makes me think of. Either that they're doped up a bit and they're just, giggling,
right,
or that there's something maybe sinister about it, and the fact that they're looking at Legoshi and seeing Legoshi turned, maybe it's some aspect of the fact that Legoshi now has some sort of reputation. He did something in the public eye, and then there's something like, sort of like that bit of evil laugh that, nobody notices to be an evil laugh.
Yeah, I think that they're going to really humanize whoever the carnivore is.
I think so too.
But what if the drug thing was the reason why he lost control? In that it's actually something that he ended up taking a bunch of, and now he's, addicted to it. He's stuck on it. And it's kind of his dirty secret, but it's an extra dirty secret now because he did something that he maybe didn't have full control of his faculties of when he devoured 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Either way, I'm really curious to see what exactly those pills did or do, and what their place is within the society, since, like you were saying, they're in like a mass manufactured, container thing.
Yeah.
So that seems like it's maybe regulated, but again, officially approved.
Right.
So, yeah.
But y'all, Beastars season 2 will be coming next year, the beginning of the year. I'm
so excited. I'm really excited.
The show is so good.
Like one, thank you for getting us to watch this show.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I love anime.
Yeah.
I love anime. And yet there are times when a show comes along and I feel like it was made for me. Not just like me in general, but also like for the very moment that I'm watching it. Like, Like, because sometimes you can be in the mood for a particular kind of show. Other times you're in the mood for a different kind of show, right?
Yeah, totally.
And man, I love this. I really love this show.
I do too.
Like,
yeah.
Oh.
So Beastars season 2, we will definitely react to it.
Oh yeah.
We'll let you know whether it'll be a poll or an automatic one. But yeah. thank you so much for watching this show with us, guys. There is no follow-up show for this one here because we did Assassination Classroom and Beastars as kind of a thing because of some shenanigans with the result of the poll.
Yeah.
But hope to see you in other reactions that we do. But be sure to check out our Patreon. Links in the description below. You can watch full-length reactions of other shows we've got there. Early access gets you access to the current show episode that we're watching at the time, and any level of support gets you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about other anime in general, and you can also talk with Jacob there about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
That's right. No, you didn't see this coming. Yeah, I wrote a sci-fi novel. It's called Battle Lines. It's pretty fun. If you want to check it out, it's on Amazon. Link in the description.
Yes, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.